Hi, Get UNSTUCK Nation. So today I'm very excited for this episode though. So please welcome Bryce Henson. He's the CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp, the world's fastest growing fitness bootcamp franchise. But today we're not only going to cover about fitness bootcamp franchise though, we're also going to talk about leadership and how you actually thinking about starting a company that really purpose driven, but able to expand and build a powerful franchise company and also making an impact to the world. So I'm very excited to talk about that with Bryce. So thank you so much for joining Get UNSTUCK Radio today, Bryce.
Thank you so much, Mutita. Very, very excited to be on. Thanks so much for having me.
So before we start to like your journey or whatever, how you started this entrepreneurial journey though?
Well, I'll give you the background, but first and foremost, I think it's important to give you the background of my fitness journey because that's really impactful and really what inspired me. So I grew up in the States. I like to say in the Midwest, which is near New York City, in a place called Michigan. And I lived there for about 10 years in my youth. And it was a great place, amazing place to grow up. But Michigan specifically is not the fitness capital of the world. So when I was 21 years young, I ended up going through university and I got a job opportunity in Los Angeles, California. And I was excited to move to Los Angeles, the palm trees, the beaches, the blue skies, everything that California and specifically LA has to offer. But being very candid with you, Mutita, and your audience, I had a lot more dark days than good. The first couple of years, I was 3,000 miles from home. I didn't have professional skills. I didn't really, have my direction in life. But most importantly, I didn't have an active fitness regimen. And I lived that way for a period of 2 years. And a fortuitous situation happened. One of my best friends from college moved out to Los Angeles and we decided to live together. He was my first fitness mentor. And really what Adam showed me, he introduced me to lifting weights. He introduced me to circuit training, clean nutrition, but most importantly, he introduced me to coaching and accountability because as I followed under his wing, as it turns out that coaching and accountability is really what kept me towards the course of fitness because I would love to look you and your audience in the eye and say, hey, I would have done this by myself, but unfortunately I can't do that. So this all to say, I trained with him for about a period of 2 years and really hyper-focused about 6 months. I ended up losing 20 pounds of body fat. I put in 20 pounds of lean muscle, but most importantly, I gained confidence and energy, enthusiasm. In fact, for my sales career, I ended up becoming one of the least performing sales rep of my company, all the way to the highest performing sales rep of my company. And only one thing, happened, and that was really me changing my fitness. So I want to start there. That was my big transformation that really gave me the vision to become a fitness professional. I can kind of give you a little bit more insight about the business, but I always like to start with my foundation, which really inspired me to enter the fitness industry.
Oh, so actually, so this confirmed me something. Actually, if you're taking care of your health first, then your professional actually skyrocket, right?
So much gold there. Absolutely. The big answer is yes. And even today, sometimes clients will come to me and say, Bryce, I can't afford to be fit. And my response is, you can't afford not to be fit. When you're fit, you're healthy, you're more vibrant, you have more energy, and you perform, better. In fact, I just was reading a study, I want to say last week, in the average North American who is not overweight or obese, who's actually healthy, has a fitness regimen, actually earns 28% more than the person who is unhealthy. So it really pays to be fit, not only from a fulfillment perspective, from a physical perspective, but also from a financial perspective as well.
So you mentioned that you were doing sales, right?
Yeah.
And how you transformed from working from others to become an entrepreneur then?
Well, I think once I went through my transformation, it really gave me so much confidence. And, at that point, my sales career really skyrocketed. So I wasn't really interested or thinking, I'm going to start, a fitness business or join an international franchise. But really what happened was after, living a healthy lifestyle, people started to come up to me and ask me, hey, I want to introduce myself at the gym. I see how you're lifting weights. I was curious how you eat from a nutritional perspective. And this light bulb went on and I thought, oh, wow, maybe I can give this gift of fitness back to others, just like my first fitness mentor, Adam, had given to me. So at that period of time, I did the most logical thing I possibly could do is I enrolled myself in the National Academy of Sports Medicine, which is the gold standard of personal training. Fit Body Bootcamp, the organization I'm the CEO of, we actually have a partnership with the organization. So I went through the training protocol and then I ended up stumbling upon a gentleman who's a very big influencer in the fitness space, who's the founder of Fit Body Bootcamp, and his name's Bedros Keuilian. And I believe when I updated my Facebook profile, I started receiving ads from Bedros kind of talking about how to launch a fitness business, how to become an entrepreneur, how to grow your clientele and get the better results. So I followed on for a little bit of time and then it became clear to me, and we were actually just talking offline, how I've been to Thailand and been to Southeast Asia. And during this period of time, I ended up traveling for a couple of years. But back in 2012, after I went through this transformation, information after I started, learning about fitness and how to coach other people. When I was coming back to California, I started paying attention to this little thing called Fit Body Bootcamp, which was a licensee program at the time. And it was being transformed into a fitness franchise by our founder, who's now, a mentor of mine. He's my business partner. And I decided after doing some research and having this incredible, touch with fitness and really this awesome experience, how it changed my personal life, but also my professional life, I thought, you know what, I might as well go all in and open a fitness studio in Southern California. And that's exactly what I did. But I decided to get the support of Fit Body Bootcamp as a franchise. And while I'm the CEO, I'm not the founder. I'm actually, ironically, one of the first franchise partners who joined in 2012. And by entering the space, that really opened up my eyes to business entrepreneurship. And really, it gave me the, more insight than, to become, more ingrained in our organization, which we can kind of talk about.
Oh, so how different, in case anyone not get it yet, how difference between the licensee and franchise?
Well, there's a few things, and specifically the one major difference is the business systems, the naming convention, and then also the territories. So when you have a licensee program, you only have 2 out of the 3. Maybe you have the systems, maybe you have the name, but there's no territory requirement. But here in North America, when you transfer or want to open a franchise, those 3 stipulations, you have to have the branding, have to have the systems, and have to have the territory requirements. And at the time, previous to 2012, there wasn't really a strong territory mapping system, but that was really the difference on why we decided at Fit Body Bootcamp to go towards the franchising route.
Because from what I know, at least, having a franchise is very challenging because it has to be an established brand already. Hence, the franchisees, they expect the franchise needs to be resellable already. Like it needs to be customer already waiting at the door once they already bought, right?
Totally. Well, specifically, that it's great that you say that, Mutita. We actually at Fit Body Bootcamp have a 100-member guarantee. So when a new franchise partner, joins our program, we've reversed engineered the operations, also the marketing, that we guarantee that our franchise partners will have 100 paying clients from the day one their grand opening, or we run their marketing until we do. And we're really strong on that belief because, to your point, when someone's coming into the business world and interested in buying a franchise system, they want a name, but more importantly, they want a system and they want a paint by numbers plan for success. And when we can guarantee them out of the gates from day one that we're going to acquire them 100 clients, that gives them a lot of confidence. And also, too, from a success perspective, sets them up for long-term success.
Since the very beginning that you started to decided to go on the franchise rounds, what has been the issue that you experienced? If you can share.
I would say the biggest issue would be, number one, just franchising is not an easy business. To your point, there's a high amount of regulations, and for many part, a good way. The Federal Trade Commission, highly regulated, just to make sure that, hey, we are producing the outcome that we say that we can. So that's a challenge, just from all the compliance and the rules and the regulations, the paperwork that we have to file on an annual basis. But probably more than that, for us specifically, our founder, Bedros, is an incredible visionary, an incredible marketer, and he also comes from the fitness space. And from a sales and marketing perspective, in the first probably 3 years of our franchise, from 2012 to 2000, maybe even 15, 16, maybe even upwards of 17, we experienced exponential growth, which was absolutely incredible. But what happened was we didn't have the infrastructure to fully support that growth that we had. So it was a problem. It was a good problem to have, but it was still a problem. And thankfully, through a lot of dedication, through Bedros having strong vision to want to bring me in, who had boots on the ground operational experience over the years, we've been able to construct a coaching and profitability team made up of other franchise partners, 6 of our most successful owners in the brand. We've been able to create business systems and automations and really strong processes to really help support our people. So to your point, the exponential growth, while good on the surface, is actually a big challenge until we were able to really lay down strong infrastructure, which came about over probably the last 3 years since 2020.
Oh, you mentioned that. Let me ask you this question, for in case anyone who already at the point of the business thinking about scaling. They are at the point where, okay, should we go further or should we decided to set our back end system and secure it? How they making this decision at that right now? Because they have to pull many resources though to freeze everything and secure this system,
That's an incredible question. It's something that we went through years ago. It's a hard question. Every business is in a different stage. So I hate to give a blanket advice, but to that point, because we had really strong sales and marketing out of the get-go, for us, our biggest bottleneck was really to making sure that we had this strong infrastructure. So we actually did have to take a step back, really pause our growth growth, make sure that we could, build really strong infrastructure over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. And it's still an ongoing, thing. But really we took that time, 2019 to 2020, to build strong infrastructure. So that way we can set up ourselves for long-term scalability. But it's a challenge, and it's something that, we as a business, we needed to make that decision. And for us specifically, that was very important to us because of the growth that we had achieved at that point.
1 year. Wow. Yeah, I understand, because like I got this question very often, and I still see on like almost daily basis that like many business owner, they cannot make decision whether they're going to pause now or like making another project to the team to like secure this operation, or they have to like duplicate some part and then slow down another project or something. Like they don't dare to test yet.
Well, and to your point, I mean, business is a test, but also the opposite could also be true. I coach and consult many other businesses that, they really make sure all their operations and infrastructure is strong, but they don't actually spend enough time from a marketing and sales perspective. So business is both an art and a science. It's a balancing act on many different ways. And there's always a balancing act between your sales and marketing engine. And then the flip side, your operation and execution engine. And that's a difficult balance. So for every specific entrepreneur, you're going to come across a time where you have to put more focus in one or the other, but it really just depends on where you're at in your business journey. And that's why, plugging into an awesome podcast like this, hiring a business coach is really important to be able to showcase, blind spots that you might have. And also to highlight different areas that you're at specific in your journey and make adjustments accordingly.
So it really depends, right? Yeah, it's so hard to say. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Another part though, in case they already have like, okay, let's say that for those who just started this journey, they have just a small team, like a handful of team members, let's say like 5 to 10. So like helping things moving. So they already have packed like both front end marketing, sales, okay, and also back end, okay, full engine. I think 10 people already like full on. But then once they are like already handful of work and they have to make decision further. And I think this is something that leadership comes in to like having everyone on board. What next for us? We were talking about this offline, that how can we change our mission to make an impact so that we can grow bigger. And I think this is great. I see in your website, and I really like the way that you reflect this, like how the formula to success, like pain, passion, and purpose. Like, can you say your formula of success again? I really like that.
Oh, I love that, Mutita. And I'll get into that. But to your point, what you said was really, thought provoking for me. And for me, I've been in the last 20 years of business. I've always been in passion-based businesses. And the reason that is, and Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, said this years ago, that you have to follow your passion. You have to follow your purpose. And more than just kind of woo-hoo advice, if you will, it's actually very practical, because if you're listening to this, the challenges of business, how, overcoming inertia, how about creating momentum is very, very, it's a real thing. So you have to be passionate about what you do. Otherwise, you're going to get beat out by your competitors who are truly passionate about what they do, because, when you get a business off the ground, yeah, initially it's exciting, but then the reality sets in of the challenges, the people issues, the HR, the government regulations, all the stuff that you have to worry about in running a business. So it's very actually practical advice that you have to be very passionate about this. And to follow up on the latter question that you asked about my formula for success, which is pain, passion, purpose, I'm under the strong belief that human nature, sometimes we can be very hard-headed. We sometimes take the hard way of learning a lesson. And many times we have to go through and experience the pain ourselves, really to understand the full lesson at play. So when I look back at my life, whether it's, stopping drinking from alcohol, which happened for me in 2016, it caused, I had a few very traumatic situations that caused me a lot of pain in that moment, which then developed a passion for sobriety and then, purpose to live a healthy and clean life. So that's one example from a personal perspective. But from a business perspective, why I'm so passionate about Fit Body Bootcamp, but more importantly, spreading health and fitness to the world. And, you talked about our mission statement, which is inspiring fitness and changing lives every day. Way more than tagline, this is our life's work. And for me, and for many of our franchise partners and coaches, they went through the pain of not being fit, the pain of being overweight, the pain of, being on prescription medication and not being able to live a vibrant life. And, for me, I didn't have confidence. I didn't have energy. I didn't have enthusiasm. I lacked fitness. And for me, that was very painful. And then I was able to develop that pain into a passion by, as I shared with you earlier, when I found my first fitness mentor, and he helped coach and guide me to a way better physique, but it gave me a way better quality of life. And that was really where where the passion developed. And then lastly, I've been able to take that passion and really focus it in very specifically on developing a purpose. And our purpose and my purpose is to inspire fitness and change lives every day. And then bigger than that is really to recruit other franchise partners who are just passionate and hungry to help themselves. And that's why, I think it's really, really important to find something that you're very passionate about it. And that's the formula that I've used many times in my life for success.
Is that meaning everyone in the company having the same mission as inspiring fitness and changing lives every day?
That's exactly it. And what we've learned, and we use a system called EOS, which stands for Entrepreneur Operating System, which is really an operating system for running your business. It's been an incredible tool for us. So I highly encourage your audience to take a look at that. But it talks about the mission of any organization. And specifically for us in the franchising industry, it's so important because we have our business here at headquarters, but we have other franchise partners and hundreds of other locations and owners that have their own businesses, but underneath the Fit Body Bootcamp flag. So it's important from an alignment perspective, it's important from a core focus perspective, it's important from a foundational perspective that we have that same mission of inspiring fitness and changing lives. So the mission in the organization remains the same, and the core values of the organization change on your leadership team. So many of our franchise partners have altering core values, but they all feed into the mission and our purpose, which is what we just discussed.
Wow. Yeah. Have you ever heard about Vivid Vision?
Vivid Vision. I'm friends. Actually, I met him. Cameron Harold is his name. He's the author of that. And I'm a coaching client of his. He helped Fit Body Bootcamp, both Bedros, our founder, and then also myself, actually create our Vivid Vision in 2020, 2021. So an incredible book. Have you read it? I'm sure you have if you brought it up.
Yeah, because I just finished making my own.
Well, Cameron's a good friend of mine. Like, that is amazing. Good for you.
Yeah, I just finished making it like last week. Yeah, and I just published to the whole team. Like, this is it. This is until 2026. Yeah, that's it. Like, read it.
Let's go, Mutita. Let's go.
Yeah, and because I already I believe in OKR. So like this is what I live in like day in and day out, like this operation thing and stuff. So like I really believe in culture and vision. Like it has to be like from both way, like ground up and also bottom down. Like it has to be like that in every single aspect of the company.
I love that so much. And it's so important for an entrepreneur to have a vivid vision, be able to cast a vision, but that's big enough where all your team, and in my case, my franchise partners, but really my entire organization, their vision can fit in the bigger vision. And really what you said there is you want to have a vision that top down and bottom up as well. And as a leader, as an entrepreneur, if you can cast a strong vision, but also empower your people for their visions to fit within that bigger vision, that's where you have the synergy. That's where you have the alignment. That's when you have the big movement at play and long-term, very, very success.
Another thing though that I also very interesting, like ability to persuade that you mentioned, like the way that you can, like in the company, that everyone can communicate and transfer energy, even among the staff, among the team, as well as to the customer. Like, is that a secret sauce of success or something?
Well, it was back to really having that passion. And I'm a firm believer as the CEO, I wear many hats, but one of them, traditionally, you think CEO, you think Chief Executive Officer. But many times I think to myself, I'm the CEO, the Chief Energy Officer. It's my job to bring the energy, bring the passion. And I'm of the firm belief as persuasion is really the transfer of belief and the transfer of energy. And it starts with the top. But when you are able to transfer the energy and be really passionate about the energy, it's contagious. It really is contagious. And you need your whole organization really charged up and passionate about the mission. But it starts with you as a leader and entrepreneur.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, so what is next for you as a franchise? Like, what is next? Like after, establish this, like you see, like McDonald's is not a franchise business, it's a real estate business, right? So what is next for you?
And I would say our true competitors, many people say, Bryce, what's this competitor, that competitor? We have other quote unquote fitness competitors. And if you're listening to this on audio, I'm using quotation marks, but really from my lens, it's the fast food industry. It's the industry that's really making our people unhealthy. And in North America, which is so sad, but statistically, more specifically in the US, Canada is a little bit better, but for the vast majority of our population, we have nearly a 50% obesity rate in our country, which is very problematic for many different ways. Number one, from a human movement and a cost perspective, the average American spends $1,500 in medical costs that is overweight or obese. So again, back to the earlier, discussion we had, when people say, hey, I can't afford to be fit, my response is you can't afford not to be fit. You're going to incur that cost from a medical perspective, or you can incur it investing your health and fitness, which is really important. So not only from a physicality though, but also from a mental health, depression, anxiety. There's so much, medications and big pharma that really could be eradicated if people just, took care of themselves and lived a healthy and fit lifestyle. So I know I'm getting at my soapbox there for a second, but I'm really, really passionate about that. But specifically for Fit Body Bootcamp, I mean, we've come an incredible way in a very short period of time in the grand scheme of things for a franchise system. We're able to navigate through COVID through strong operations and systems, have big passion in the organization. One thing that we're very proud of that we launched is a program called Bootcamp Plus, which is a higher end nutrition coaching program. Because really, when you look at, to change someone's body composition, which most people that join our gyms, they're looking for fat loss. Yes, they want to have more mobility and they want to have more energy and more confidence, but really they want to lose weight, they want to burn fat, and that will give them those things that they're after. And really, when you break it down, the nutritional coaching, the nutritional component is so important. So we've actually developed a proprietary software, a nutrition macro-based coaching app, and we've launched this to the brand this particular year. But our vision is to really ensure that program takes hold, because that way we can increase the amount of results that we have for our clientele. And there's a famous adage that we say here at Fit Body Bootcamp: those clients who get better results, they stay, they pay, and they refer. So for us, that's the big mission, and that's really what we're looking for, not only throughout this year of 2023, but in the coming years ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So in case anyone can learn more from you, right? Like, where can they follow you then?
Well, thank you so much, Mutita. I would love to continue to serve you and your audience. The best way would be to subscribe to my podcast called the Fitness CEO Podcast. And yes, it's about business and mindset. It's about fitness as well, but it's really more of a business entrepreneur mindset type of podcast, which I can provide a lot of value. There's many episodes I go solo, but I also bring on some awesome guests as well. So the Fitness CEO Podcast would be it. But then also too, on all social, whether it be LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, you can find me. My handle is Real Bryce Henson, not to be confused with Fake Bryce Henson. So that's where you can find me.
There is another fake Bryce Henson as well.
There's a few out there.
Okay, everything will be put in the description below, everyone. So check it out. And thank you so much, Bryce, for sharing these awesome details. I mean, everyone, you should listening to this again to like make sure that you get it clear of like how to shift your mindset from starting from yourself, and then how you make impact as in to a bigger scale in case you want to grow your business. So thank you, Bryce, for sharing this awesome information today to Get Unstuck Nation.
The pleasure was mine. It was awesome. Thank you so much, and really appreciate you.